Well, good morning. So the sun is trying to make an appearance. Broken clouds today here in Cyprus, so let's try and see if we can get this thing set up with the SLR camera and try and get some images out of it. First up, let's get the Celestron Edge 11 off the CGX. Alright, so I've got a small dovetail. So I don't think I'll be needing all these counterweights. There's one problem I've noticed. Alright. And I don't think I have to worry about deck. There's just so little weight there. ASI120mm, and we've got the 1.25" nose piece. No idea where the focal distance is yet, so let's just go with that. So as I know the mount is polar aligned, I will go inside to the laptop, turn it on, slow it to the sun and see what we get. Alright, so here we are on the desktop, logged into the machine, and let's fire up CPWI, click start and connect to the mount. So one of the issues I'm going to have here is the focusing. So obviously the focus is outside, I can't see the screen. So unless I go and get my tablet and do a remote desktop into the laptop so I can see what I'm doing, we'll see how we get on. It might turn into a disaster, but let's just wait and see. So the mount's already polar aligned, so I don't have to worry about that. So I could just do quick align. And because I do a quick align, it won't try and change the pointing model, it's already in. So let's just do bigger gain alignment, which will just do a home switch alignment. Alright, so it's home the mount, so I can come out of here. Let's start with the ASI Studio, as I can connect directly into the camera using the planetary imaging. And it sees the 174, which is good, and let's just connect the camera. So now let's slew the mount to the sun. There we go. So let's slew to the sun and go to. I can hear it moving, so let's switch back to the camera. Alright, so I think we're on the sun going by that brightness, so let's just screw it right back. I could probably go back to, there we go, so we're not bad, we're on the sun. Continue to turn the exposure down. It's probably well out of focus because I haven't done anything other than place the eyepiece into the holder. Okay, so now I can use the telescope slew controls. I don't have a focuser, so I won't have to worry like I do on the Edge. Let's go back to the ASI. Studio. Oh, there we go. Let's screw the mount towards the light. Look into the light. Never get this the right way around. It's probably this one. And no, the other way. Oh, definitely on the sun there. We can see we're clipping on the histogram. So let's dial this back. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to align the mount to the sun. So if I keep nudging up and try and get it center to the sun. Oh, right, too high. It's good enough. So back to CPWI. Click on the sun again. Add to model. Undo centered. And close. And bring back up my slewing controls because they disappear for some reason. Bad UX. Okay. All right, so there we are in the sun. Now I just need to try and focus it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my phone and I use Chrome Remote Desktop. So I'm going to connect to the laptop so I can see the screen on my phone. And now if you look at this there, you can see I can see the sun on my phone. So let's go out and try and focus. All right, so now we've got a sharper disc. I can start to turn down and try and tune in the exposure. And there we go. Disc of the sun with two sunspots. So what I'm going to do now is zoom in onto the sunspots. And try and fine tune the focus. Okay, we can also already start to see some of the surface detail in the sun as well by the looks of things. So hopefully I can fine tune this in. So back out to the scope again. Okay, I'm starting to see, still not in focus properly, but you can definitely see more of what's going on. Now what I did do while I was outside was I removed the piston on the pressure tuner just to let it equalize, because obviously it's never been moved since it's shipped from Germany. And I'm going to go the other way and then put the pressure tuner back in. Okay, so let's zoom back in on those sunspots. This looks like there's some activity down here as well. And let's try and focus further on the sunspots and that surface detail. Now, if I click on the bottom of ASI, sun color, it gives you some false color, just so I can see how things look. So this is at the native 560mm focal length. But what I will try, once I get this reasonably focused, just to see how it goes, is to drop in an El Cheapo 2x Barlow that I've got. But in the meantime, let me just go and focus this a bit better. See if I can get my phone to reconnect. Pressure tuner, how best to tweak that. But definitely can see more detail than I can when I'm using the Edge 11. So I'm quite pleased with that. Once I do a bit more fine tuning, So let me come out of this app and switch across to SharpCap just to see what I can get with that. So I'll disconnect the camera. Open up SharpCap. Connect the ASI because I haven't got. Wow, I didn't expect to see that. So look at all this activity along the prominence. Certainly didn't used to see that level of detail with the Edge 11. So let's see how I can tweak this. So as I said, this is the standard 560mm native focal length of the scope. So it'll be interesting to see what it's like when I add in Barlow. But in the meantime, let's just drop the exposure down and see if we can get the surface again. Okay. Yep, so there's the two sunspots. Let's double the zoom. All right, nice. So this is where the flares were. The prominences down in this bottom left corner, and that's McGee you can hear barking. And here we can start to see these prominences at the bottom left of the sun. I do like these ones at the bottom. They've got a real detail in there. Right, let me go across to FireCapture now, as I think it's got some other tweaking options. So let's switch off the camera. And let's open up. In fact, let's go back into here. I haven't increased the gain on this to see how those prominences appear in the false color. So they were down here at the bottom. Let's zoom in. Around about here. And now let's increase the gain. Increase the exposure. Where's that gone? Control. And let's start to nudge this up. Now we start to blow out the sun. Although we can see the detail of the surface quite nicely. And let's keep going until we get the I need to increase this a bit to the next level. Excellent, right. So FireCapture. Keep getting distracted. Okay. 100%. Oh, it's got region of interest switched on, that's fine. Okay, so there's full disk. And let's nice. Let's zoom in, 200%. And we've got some nice detail around the edge. And there's that flare at the bottom. Excellent. Well, that was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Let's switch over to let's try and put the Barlow in and see what happens with that. So I've got a Omega 2X Barlow. So I'm going to try and put that. So the Barlow's in, although it's not focused yet because my phone keeps dropping the connection for some reason. So it is out of focus. I might have to do this the other way of just running back and forth, which I don't particularly want to do. Let's slow the scope down. So I've got an edge to work with. Yeah, these clouds are doing my head in. That's just the way it goes. All right, so I think I'm a little bit still out of focus, but we can still see detail around there. Let's have a walk around the sun. Let's drop this right down before I shoot off and lose it. Does that cloud come in? I don't even know where I am. Oh, there they are. So let's move up to them, which is all right. I think we'll come back when this cloud bank clears, if it's going to clear. This is fast moving though. So I shall hopefully see you just shortly. All right, so I'm back. The clouds are still being pretty persistent, as you can see coming through, but I flipped over back to ASI Studio into the planet capture, and I've been playing around with the pressure tuner and the focus, and I think this is the best I can get it just now because it's an absolute nightmare with the clouds coming through. But what I would say is that early impressions are excellent compared to the Edge 11, which I was using previously. And yes, that's a nice thick bank of cloud that's come through. It's not gone dark. So I dare say once we get a proper clear spell, I can continue to try and fine tune the scope and the optics. I've got the 2X Barlow in there at the moment, so I don't know whether it's sitting in the right place or not, but yeah, early impressions are good. Certainly getting more detail on the surface of the sun than I did under the Edge 11, and also in the prominences. We'll move down there just in a second once this cloud disappears. They're certainly more noticeable and detailed again compared to when I was using the Edge 11 and the white light filter. So very pleased. I just need to fine tune this a bit more and then I can try and do some processing, doing the recording. But let's head down to where that large prominence was at the opposite corner of the sun, if I can remember which way to go. And yes, I got it wrong again. So it was down in the opposite corner. It was down here. And that way. And down a bit more. Oh. So if I up the gain, sorry, up the exposure, blow out the sun, and we'll get the prominence starting to appear. And we can see that down there on the bottom left of the picture and at the bottom. I could probably, there we go. So there we have it. Excellent. So for a first light, I'm very happy with that. And I just need to get my head around it all. And yeah, absolutely delighted with the quality of the images I'm getting so far. So on that note, for a first light on a new solar scope, I shall catch you in the later. Please subscribe if you want to keep up with what's going on, and if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. It really helps the channel to grow. And on that note, I shall see you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Look out for the future live streams and anything else I'm up to. We'll see you later.